Okay, everybody, we are back here on a Thursday. Thursday, what's going on? So let's get this out of the way. Today is my birthday, and want to say just a big thanks to everybody that I've made it this far, and all of this that I do with Harmonic Patterns. It's a big part of my life, and absolutely can't do it without my family, my wife, and the people that keep me going. So that includes all you folks. And again, big shout out. Thank you again for the birthday wishes from before and today. Let's get to it. And you know what? Let's give away a gold membership. So, first person to type in GOLD, you'll win a gold membership. And wanted to let everybody know how to jump on over to harmonictrader.com and get with the basic membership. Get with the software. If you're in here and you haven't at least signed up for the Tradingview software, that's where to do it. Send your username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. Gold goes to falling knife markets. You win. And get in on next week's Zero DTE seminar. We'll look at a couple that I've been stalking all morning. Here's the QQQ, folks, and amazing little reaction recently off of a number of different patterns, but for our sake, the big thing really is a trigger that happened yesterday, which was Harmonic Strength Index for the second time actually triggered against this bearish pattern. We've been talking about this pause, this type 1 reaction, and that after the little rebound, it kind of reestablishes what's going on. Be aware of that. For the Qs, pretty much caps 380 going down. And our target 336, we knew this would stair step down. You know, something like really like kind of, this still is the general level by level way that I would look at this. So let's get to it with, at least for today, I think we should take a quick look at Apple. And let me go back over to Tradingview platform. Here we go. Apple was the same thing, pretty much mirrors the Qs. And on the daily chart, it too generated an HSI 2 days ago. It was a nominal test here back of the big deep crab, 189. But yesterday was the first confirmation back in the zone, and I don't think we've been saying 169 all along. It's just that by the end of August, middle end of August, we hit some oversold. We were so close to target 1. But certainly the 189, this most recent rejection, probably the biggest rejection since a year ago. You go back to something like that. So it's back on. Still in there. For today, a couple things to look at for the Qs. I've been doing a lot of things on 0 DTE type stuff. QQQ, SPY. Where's the 371s? Yeah, here you go. 371. Here's where we had a couple patterns yesterday, Tuesday, that set this off for the week. And this is something that I've been talking a lot about this summer. I'm thinking that with everything coming down Friday, look for the Friday expirations. So that's 8. That might be the thing that, for me recently, I've been exclusively day trading these. Maybe in a couple of overnight situations where you grab the Friday expirations, you hit some home runs. I think there's enough patterns in these kind of situations on a 5-minute and a 30-second time frame worth it. Conversely, on the call side, you know, if you're looking for this thing to be oversold, sorry, those are the puts, or the SPY calls. Sorry, let me pull up the SPYs for tomorrow. A side note, just want to let everybody know, Tradingview, I heard, is coming out with option data really soon. So that might be a game changer for most people who are exclusively on Tradingview. And I think their platform is as good as can be, where you probably, that's all you need. Here's the SPY for, I was looking for the 445s for tomorrow. Let me go to the 30-second time frame here, because we have a little bit of a pop. SPY sold off this morning. Oh, that's what it was. Sorry, it was and I'm missing it right now. Okay, this is what I wanted to show. It's just getting away from me. So this is the SPY 445 call. And no matter what is going to be the consequence, at least this oversold dead cat bounce had a bunch of patterns this morning. I was looking at both puts and calls this morning. But the retest that happened, and then this thing, which was beautiful 5-0. I mean, really amazing on the 445 call. Now getting the follow through. And that just took off as we started this morning, today. But that's an example of a lot of zero DTE or next day option plays that are continuing to print patterns. So let's keep an eye on that. I think it's important to look at, the 4-hour and hourly time frame. Again, 30-second patterns printing left and right this morning, no doubt, for the Qs. Longer term, what happened this morning was that you hit a couple of targets off of this. So 4-hour or even hourly is probably better. And then the thing I wanted to highlight here is it was a bearish ABCD on the 4-hour or hourly, 379, 380, parked at target 1. And it's probably going to be the whole month, and I think 354 full retest back down to this lower zone, or 360 eventually makes sense. We're not, just so you know, on the 4-hour chart, we're trying to do an inflection now. HSI has not moved out. So look for this, a bounce off of here after HSI spends another 2 bars down here, 3 bars, 8 hours, 8 more hours of trading as it tests this 370 level. The kind of the thought. And then even the futures, NASDAQ futures have been really spot on. And 4-hour chart, there you go, same ABCD, sloppy overspill move from the completion last month. But 15,000, 14.9, I think that's the obvious floor before anything can happen. It's kind of like this. If you wanted to frame out the next 30 days going into October, think of it like that. Nice reaction off that type 1. Meanwhile, when the market was down this morning, we have to look at things like individual issues like what Meta did this morning. This is getting interesting. So Meta had this bat pattern, and this is on the 4-hour. Perfectly hit target 1 at 306.89 and doing a nasty rejection. So a lot of individual volatility really for the first time in a couple of weeks. I was complaining about this last week in the Discord. It's tough to trade a frozen market or something that doesn't even, barely moves a point a day. But this kind of thing, yeah. And not only that, the rejection off the 382 is the real sign there. I mean, you can barely see it on the 4-hour chart. But come on back down. At least 293. You almost hit that perfectly. Yeah, you did. You hit 292.22. But I would still want to see confirmation if that was a 4-hour type 2 bat. And look what Harmonic Strength Index is doing. Perfect rollover, type 2, back down. So you have a few of these that are, maybe what's going on is the larger type 1 that had to happen in things like Apple or even Microsoft are now going to do it. catch up with it in shorter fashion one by one. So Microsoft, I think it's even better on the weekly. There you go. Yeah, this is the other thing that is happening, that happened on that last reaction in August on a lot of individual issues, is they did get oversold, but still wedged between pattern resistance and support. And structurally, even if that takes several weeks to get down to 308.20, the minimum long-term signal is from 308.20. Keep that in mind. And keep that in mind relative to things like Nvidia, which has a chance to come back for the type 2. And if it did, I'd be impressed. I mean, super strong. We got the first continuation signal 2 weeks ago with HSI, starting point. Don't forget, something like Nvidia, beautiful bat pattern that was running into earnings, but where do we know that would come in? The bigger confirmed level for the pattern is all the way back down, 410. That's a possibility. You know, if you're a Super Bowl Nvidia, you almost want to see that happen and then take off. Keep that in mind. I mean, you could have it. Hey, what's up, David? David's saying 410 or 490 by the end of the year. You could have both. You could have a retest of 410 and then back to 490. That takes that higher. Very likely. And you have the same with a lot of the big tech stocks that have crab patterns. They're going to do the type 1 and then could go through a type 2. Quickly, Netflix. So Netflix trying to print the first HSI on this retest. Back in the zone. I think you guys remember I've been saying 437 is essentially resistance because that's the XA level. Every time you popped above 437, you got rejected. And now we have, it should be by today. Let me increase the visibility. Yeah, let me do this. There you go. That should close by today. So just be aware, a bunch of these big tech stocks have retested the structural levels and now forming some confirmation, secondary confirmation. Early, but you're really, I mean, you're really close to triggering what you need to see on this secondary test for that up to be a larger confirmation. Daniel's asking, what's up, Daniel? He's asking, what's the downside target? I think if you haven't reached target 1, that's still the target. If you have not, we are in essence still in a type 1 reaction on things like Netflix, other big bearish patterns that materialized from early beginning of the year up until July. And now, secondary confirmation. Structurally within this trend, though, with all patterns, you want that reaction. It comes down, it hits the test, it hits the target 1 level, completes that test with a reaction, and then if you're going to see something much larger, more aggressive, or even a failure, you go off at target 1 and then you just launch all the way through the hop and beyond. Same with Apple. Apple's down 10 points That's some severe price action going on in Apple. I don't want to really dismiss this even independently, throw away the patterns. Everybody's seeing this as, hey, gap, is that a breakaway gap? Almost. Lucky Apple didn't gap under 170, or something much larger would be already taking shape. So keep an eye on these things. The harmonic pattern framework is just kind of popping out here on the bearish side the same way it did almost a year ago on the bullish side, with minimum targets. Structurally, everyone's saying, okay, lower high. Initial high, lower high, or secondary high, lower here, breakdown. We only needed to go to 169.95. And then you get down there, okay. Maybe we triggered something at these lower levels to end that reaction, but not yet. And Apple's just kind of sticking out like a sore thumb. It's impressive. That damage is impressive. But I'll say something else, though. It's you have interesting individual divergence. Here's Intel, and I like Intel longer term. This is actually one of my favorites, mostly because of the weekly deep crab here. And I think target 141.36 likely before the end of the year. I think this could get hit, and maybe you trigger some kind of overbought reading, but it's interesting how this is diverging or seemingly continuing its uptrend while others look like they're breaking down. One or two more. I mean, the big ones. Tesla printing more patterns really on every time frame. It's remarkable. I'm not really concerned about Tesla yet. If we obviously got to the type 2, because we just did a type 1 reaction, but I'd break this down on the 4-hour. Look, there's probably enough swings on the 4-hour with Tesla. It's pretty impressive. A couple of the bat pattern, type 1 bat pattern at the end of the month that completed all the way down to 212. But here we are about to retest resistance one more time. So many reactive moves. I mean, that's amazing. From terminal bar right down to target 116 points and then right back. That's the secondary test of this. If that happens this week, I would be looking for this to kind of be the end of the 2 of 2 and then come back and retest that pattern at 200 or 212. Something like that, 212.55. Whole lot of volatility, but just, ping-ponging between levels. What do we have right now? 5-minute HSI. Let's go to the Qs, because ideally with what's going on today, the Qs are down 3. S&P 500 is flat pretty much. I mean, the SPYs are only off $1.40. Index is off 14. That's not too bad. Google's positive. Intel's up almost $1. And Meta's all over the place. Could be worse. You could be Disney here. So hold on one second. Here we go. Cannot believe this. 1 second. 1 second, everybody. Sorry about that. There we go. Listen, but then we have things like Disney that are doing massive historic breakdowns that I think are that this warrants attention of things that have not recovered. Where if you're going to take out big support, something like that, this has my attention. I mean, Disney has not done anything at that $90 level. We've looked at that for a long time, but a few of these are now doing the COVID violation, come back and failing the COVID low. So I don't think it's over. I think you have a lot of volatility to come. I feel like you're finally out of August. Take a look at the SPY for today. Here's 5 minute. Okay. Here is just something to consider, kind of our midday dot. I'm always looking for resolution, midday turnaround. Usually that shows up in the manner of HSI on a 5 minute. About 12:43 right now here on Eastern Standard Time, New York time, if you will. There you go. We look at that. We look for some kind of HSI, overbought or oversold. Looks like we just generated that about 5 minutes ago. So let's see how this shapes up for the rest of the day. I am looking for what's happened this morning to only be kind of a reaction rally. That's it. Nothing yet. Come back to this. On the Qs, it's around 372. Check out here, take a look before I go on. Where is it? Yeah, here's the 369 puts, 370 puts. 0 DTE today. QQQs are trading 71.50 at the moment. I mean, here you go. This is what I'm talking about. And a lot of the setups where it does this initial reaction, you have a secondary test, super high risky zero DTE plays with patterns. So if we have bearish 5 minute HSI signal setting up where maybe that's it for the day. That's what I'm thinking. Early morning reaction and then we roll back over. I'll look for stuff like this. 1 strike out, 2 strikes out. This is that 0 DTE or next day play. Look at tomorrow's expiration. Might be a little more realistic. What's down here? Nothing really. I like today's play better. Let me look at 69s. Yeah, you're looking for stuff like this where clear patterns, consolidation, no pattern, no trade. And you have to have the other overbought signals, trend, directional signals going with you. Yeah, I'm on the SPYs. I'm looking around 445 for today. Should be about it. Yeah, it was an early, this morning just got overdone. Apple got taken to the shed. That drove the indices down, but SPYs bounced back. Meta, like I said, was plus 7. Let's take a look at that. Doesn't matter if you caught this or not, just recognize that that's some of the first really nice volatile action. A couple of, what was that, shark crab pattern this morning, all around 306. I'm more concerned with hourly levels. And then, of course, here's the daily. Let's keep an eye on that one. I do really think you're starting to see more of this. The other one was Amazon. Longer term, I think Amazon looks great, but you have to get through basically same type 1 reaction. There you go. Bat pattern off of last year's high, come back to 119.87. And then I'll look for that next level. Couple more. Take a look at the semiconductor ETF. Same deal here. It's just flashing right now. HSI confirmation. First time since, in a couple of weeks, but since this last bullish reading that set it back up into the zone. So you're close to at least confirming that signal. Nice little drop today. I mean, I'm really surprised, though, Intel is doing as well as it is with the semis doing this. Regardless, I think we make our way to 131.49. I do think at a minimum you're going to at least drag another 30-day window after this confirmation. So let's see if we make progress. 144 target, easy. The 131 target one is probably going to take more time. Couple more. I think the thing to consider is a lot of these are, when we're in this type 1 reaction, and not to mention we just triggered bearish confirmation, this secondary test, it's going to be tough to go on any long. There's lots of patterns out there. Lots of patterns. I just don't think there's, going on any long position at the moment, unless it's crazy overwhelming, is going to yield you much in the way of results. You might go through a few weeks of some chop. QQQ 371.50, 371.45. Just triggered HSI 5-minute on a 371.75 roughly for today. I do think there's opportunity now, more so than end of August. That was just really, I don't even think there was a reason to be there that last week of August. It was other than like one day. But I'll take a look at other individual opportunities. Show you guys a couple things that have been decimated that are just not giving you much yet. I mean, here's something Solar Edge Technologies, and a lot of the solar stocks crushed. Big patterns. Go on the weekly, some cases even the monthly chart. You can find slightly lower levels, but that's about it. I haven't even seen one single, well, a second weekly green candle. You're down here at the hop level off of this bat pattern, but I need a yellow dot. And take a look at where you are. Deeply oversold still. It's an interesting spot, no doubt, but early. And That's a lot like this one, Canadian Solar. Nice shark pattern. That's a weekly chart. HSI is trying to generate this week. So it might be another 2 or 3 weeks. $25, maybe as low as $22.50 early. But you're starting to get down there. And that's a weekly chart. So, all right, keep an eye on it. I would think 22.50, 23, especially because it's a shark. What is the hop? Falling Knife asks. Well, Falling Knife, if you don't know what that hop is, it's called the Harmonic Optimal Price. You can read about it or watch a video on the basic members page. So if you want to get on that, please go over to harmonictrader.com and scroll down. Check out volume 3 if you want to learn about that, or there's volume 3, or watch the newly updated basic members pattern course. You want to watch the Harmonic Pattern Collection software course, number 1, number 2, number 3. I think if you go through those, that's got it all. Check that out, please. Any other questions, hook up on the Discord. But we look at the zones, we look at, the patterns are a starting point for identification of levels, and then we are trying to confirm really exact spots within those levels. Couple more. Here's the other thing I'm looking at, which is the bond ETF. Here's the TLT on the weekly basis. Big pattern down here, no confirmation yet. But it's done an ideal reaction where you hit the zone, there's confirmation, and then you run right into a counter signal. So that's more time. That takes more time. You actually are checking back, retesting that level right now. Really critical stuff. The last 2 sessions, you are hitting a bunch of levels like this, depending on your market. There's a lot of retests and triggers going on right now. That's a big one. Probably the biggest since the initial completion of that pattern, because you are hitting a retest and you're trying to give it some kind of confirmation, bullish confirmation for the first time. And that would essentially mean you're looking for rates, interest rates, to top out here. It's not there yet, but you are looking here. You are maybe a week, 2 weeks, literally away from a turn in that market if you can get progress. But that just hit last week. One or two more. I think there's some things that are getting destroyed that people should take a look at. Here's the 3 ideas that I posted for my folks. It's JetBlue. And it was, depending on the setup, I mean, it was daily and weekly. Got a whole bunch of things here. This thing looks like it's going to go bankrupt, right? You got a couple of hop levels around 573. I just wanted to update this for my folks, but maybe we do this big type 2 of that deep crab as low as 492. Okay, it's getting destroyed as it hits the area we've been targeting, but you look at your weekly level, that needs to come out before anything can happen. So interesting setups like this, kind of old economy style. Here's another one, General Motors. Okay, what's going to happen here? Because the daily level at least been trying to hold up the 30s. There you go. A big deep crab down here. Another little pattern, a couple of patterns. So I'm thinking around 30, 80, 31 bucks, maybe 30, 50. They're hitting big levels. These are big old economy stocks with big patterns, but a lot of them are not acting like they want to turn around just yet. There's a bearish HSI. That's the last one you've seen. A bit deeper. Here's the Qs. Listen, let's take a look at some of these Q options. Are we going to get something right now? What about today? Well, check this out. We're coming off of a 30-second, and this would be a good one to analyze with the auto type 1, type 2 tracker, but this is a 30-second bat pattern. Look, that's probably it for the type 1 reaction, and I would, your 15,240, maybe come back, retest 15,197. That's something for today. And again, I've been doing a lot of 0 DTEs, and what about, say, the Qs, 370s, or where are they trading, 371s? These are the kind of plays that, catch them right. There you go. That is the type 2 crab. Did we get down there? Because the 1618 was 17. That's the 370 put, guys. I'm not crazy, but interesting. That's the kind of thing where it's been taking a lot of patience, because sometimes you got to wait hours, but when you get these to come together like this one, or in the 3 o'clock hour, you get the big moves. I've been doing the last two option series on basically this kind of combination of underlying pattern with an option pattern. Here's an example of another one. I mean, the 1618, the crab. I talking about this in the Discord. I sold that for 39 cents. Well, it came back and then went to 160. Happens, but put yourself at least in that field of opportunity. This is another. HSI is breaking down right now, 371s. And then again, the 1618 was 17. What about at this point? Maybe go to the what's tomorrow's? Because if we get a breakdown into the end of the day, no, it didn't come back. But you guys see the kind of movement that's going on here. I don't have to force the patterns too much. And again, if we get direction on the futures, if that's ES or the NASDAQ, yeah, I mean, here we go. We've got, here's NASDAQ futures. Your last 5-minute HSI signal is bearish up here, 15,265. So interesting stuff, though. Couple more. Let's take a look at, I want to look at the S&P really quick. Again, for today, something to consider is go to the hourly. Even with what S&P's little rally this morning, here we go. That was a 30-minute, I thought. No, oh, here we go. 4-hour futures. And I know what the problem is. 1 second. We're still in the oversold at the moment, around 44.55. But watch this for a larger breakdown. That's on the 4-hour candle. We're about to jump out of that by the close today. If we can't get above that last 4-hour candle, which is 44.57, maybe even get a bearish, one more bearish candle going on this 4-hour, we will head lower into tomorrow. This will take more time, at least 8-10 hours to get out. You're not even pivoting yet. Yeah. Here's the daily. The other thing. I did mention, I think it was like a week or two ago, why the October move, at least in the futures. You're not seeing it in every chart, but look at compare this with the SPY. If this is going to hold and the ABCD is at 45, that's your real resistance going forward that we want to consider. This is all overspill. Confirmation came in around 45.90. I'm more focused more like 4,500. If this is a larger type one on the daily, where target one on the futures is as low as 41.86, watch that coming up into September, into the month. Is this something where we're going to have a reaction? We got a lot of patterns that are bearish patterns that have obvious type 1 targets. This one too on the daily. Weekly. There you go. Weekly, this software is kicking out kind of an intermediate Gartley. Now really the only thing I'm focused on is the ABCD factor, that this is every week we go forward. The fact that you have an ABCD, just keep in mind 45 is the most important number for S&P period, but maybe even the whole market. Call it 4,500 to remember it easily. You had a retest last week of that and a rejection. We're seeing it in SPY, the ETFs, the futures. A lot of that's happening. Really quick before I know you guys want to see crypto. Check out crude oil on the weekly. What's going on here? We mentioned for a while, there's the futures, $70 as low as 65. Critical weekly bat. That's ending up to be a delayed pattern, but a significant structure. Even if it goes through the full 1-2, be aware of that. This is now in a better spot than obviously beginning of the summer, but pattern wise, if you come up, did a target 1 and then a retest for a type 2, maybe that's 3 months, but you sure are starting to do the right things that you weren't doing back this spring. It took you 10 weeks, 15 weeks to get out of that zone. I think right now, just focus on $93. Crude oil will continue higher. Other individual ones, remember Chevron. Now, talk about delayed effect. This is daily Gartley. Where's the Gartley? Hold on, Chevron. There it is. Okay. It's this Gartley. back at 161, but we were looking at the hop at 152, especially because it was a type 2. This says target 2 is 177. So for those that hung in there, congratulations. Stay with it. Even though you had what happened here is you had a shark pattern. It went shark to 5-0. And now the 5-0, that too should continue sooner than later. That was a nice move last week. You got to be kidding me. Really? Hold on. Sorry, temporary disconnected. It's probably a data surge because options are rolling over. Guys, how about the 369s? Sorry, the 370s. The Qs are rolling over. I think I'll have to get it like 4 or 5 here. Qs are at 371.09 at the moment. The low of the day was 369. What you're looking for is that to go back and at least peak under 370. Maybe even the 371s are better. Here's Devon Energy, but that wasn't the one I was featuring. It was Dominion. Down here at it was Dominion is the other one, and Devon. They were both around 50 bucks. Devon's a daily. I think there was a bat pattern here. Diamond. Hold on one second. No, it was Diamond Offshore because that was blown up. Well, I know. Let's go back to XLE. There you go. XLE on the daily, folks, managed to get all the way back up to the 786 off the all-time high 2 days ago. So watch it right here. Think we could still go higher if we blow through that. There is no confirmation yet because HSI is deeply overbought at the moment. 91.29, maybe as high as 95. Critical. I think this is all determined by crude oil. Goes to 93. Or is it 91? $93.16. Target that really up until we get to that type 1 reaction. And then we could get a pretty quick rejection. Nat gas has done nothing, folks. A few people have asked me about that. When is that going to come around? I don't expect that to come around until maybe the winter. There you go. And then UNG. This will be a long-term base between $7 and $9 for foreseeable future. Okay. Interesting that I've mentioned this before. We've had a couple of crab formations, some big patterns, much in the way that from 2-3 years ago, nat gas had some signals. Here's the monthly. I think this is what we were looking at when it first completed. Hold on. UNG. Sorry. It was like that. There it is. And this is split adjusted. We were looking at this big 1618. We caught that huge reaction. That went from what'd that go from, like 10 to 120 or something pre-split? It's pretty dramatic. But nothing yet is going to happen there. I think the better play, things like ExxonMobil, Chevron. Chevron's probably the best of the group. There you go. There's daily. There's ExxonMobil printing a whole bunch of patterns. So again, see how range bound has been. Maybe a little bit more upside on Exxon, or but these look like they're hitting their limit for now. Speaking of limit, QQQ, 371.24. If it gets a 5-minute close under 371, folks, that could really set it off to get it back down to 370. Take a look, like I said, the 370 puts or even the 371 puts. If you're going to get that continuation, super cheap at the moment. And, maybe even to tomorrow, where those are the puts, yeah. Here's the today's, though. Go to the 5-minute chart. There you go. Incredibly, that low was 15, and it's two things, two big update things. First of all, with the Tradingview program, so the auto ID, the auto type 1, type 2 identifier, it'll be known as Combo X. Okay, that's going to have the labels of exactly where the type 1 reaction starts and begins and ends. And then the type 2. Let me clean this up, though. I don't know why I'm generating so many structures, but for example, here's XLE. Oh, I had too many lines too. So right now we have it labeled as, we have the sun icon. That's where the completion of the pattern is. Most of you know that's the start of the process. If we can identify these segments, and again, that's intraday time frame. If you can have a bread and butter move, this is it. From this sun icon straight up to the price bar that hits target 1. And just be looking for these type of chunks. From a trading perspective, mindset, that's the whole framework, especially with something like confirmation, which, I'm just working off this XLE chart, but you had ideal confirmation. How do you enter a position like that? You're entering, once it's completed and established, you're right at the level. You're looking for that terminal bought check back with the prescribed levels, in this case, 76.45 to 82.45, straight up. Couple of more. I think we're going to be adjusting some of the labeling. It'll be exactly T1, T2, with, like the profit target will have a dollar sign. With all of that to set it up so that everyone can start programming your own bot. Now, I will be doing a bot that's based on this and then 100 other things, but if you guys want to set it up so that you can identify those segments and capture those with the conditions of confirmation, prearranged profit targets, it's possible. I think once we nail it down to the price bar, which what we're doing, you'll see. Hold on one second. I'm going to bring back Combo X one more time. Combo X is not ready just yet, but like I said, it's probably a few weeks away. from where I'm comfortable with it, the new labeling. Here you go. For even XLE for today. There you go. 5-minute chart. I'm just going off of this right now. That includes pre-market. So, hey, this is probably difficult to really say you would get a fill because that's pre-market, but it has all the harmonic pattern dynamics working, including pre-market data. There's the type 1, the A1, that's the end of the, just think of that as the end of the reaction. And then you're back in here for the 2. Let's look at QQQ SPY. What's going on there? Little pop. Little pop. I'm going to come back and check back now and get a dot. "30-second chart's got a whole bunch of patterns printing. Let me clean this up. I'll remove the ABCD. All right, we're at HSI right now on a 30-second chart for the Qs, 371.61. This is pretty good for today. Back down, retest the hop. 371.61. This thing has been just going dot to dot. Look. Yellow dot, yellow dot. Now we're here retesting for another dot. Give me a dot. 30-second chart. And the 5-minute. Where are we with the... Well, we don't even have anything on the 5-minute yet. Right there. 371.94. Yeah. The other thing I've been looking at is just regular session, exclusively regular trading hours. And mostly because, as I was just showing you with the XLE, the execution ability of a lot of the signals we look at, are you really going to be trading overnight, or can you execute? I mean, most of us are here, if we're lucky enough to be here during the day, we're trading 9 to 5, 9 to 4. So this is 9:30 to 4. Where are the signals? And this morning you had a couple of patterns, but gap right down through this deep crab. And now we have got to keep an eye on here. We do have on regular hour session 371.80, right where we are now. What's that bar? 371.76. It looks like this. There you are. So there's the check back. That's from the signal from this morning. That's happening right now. You're probably, what, we're 3.5 minutes before that check back is even done. We're 10 more minutes before that's ready for a 5-minute go. Well, you're close, but I consider this just early morning reaction. So here we are. We need a midday dot, 121. So great. Glad everyone can hang out today. Great to have everybody with you. Let's give away a gold membership, GOLD. And you'll get to go to the 0 DTE option seminar next week. Basically, what we're looking for into the close. The SPYs, here's is this tomorrow? Here's tomorrow's 445. Nothing really there. Dave Digital, what's up? You win. Thanks, Dave Digital. Please contact Miss Stephanie and you'll get set up with the gold membership and the software, but you have to check all the info on the gold members page. Here we are with the SPY 445s for tomorrow. Yeah, just printing some bearish patterns. Nothing yet. I wish I would have even on a 30-second pattern, nothing. We're just checking back this HSI now. Let's see. SPY is flat on the day. It's back to even. Uh, it was off 20 or 30. Now it's off 12. Meta is looking flat on the day, and Intel is up a buck. So Intel is fairly interesting. You've got this kind of disconnect, but I don't care, up or down. Give me some patterns, type 2s. Give me some movements. 5-minute pattern typically on the options. Here we are. All right, you're all the way back to 17 cents. Those are the 370s. But really want to look for tomorrow. Either way, call or put. Is this going to be you're checking back HSI literally as we talk right now. We don't have a yellow dot, but probably in about 10 minutes. And try to hold on for that. It would be a sweet spot for some kind of continuation. Let me look for tomorrow's. Tomorrow 370. Yeah, nothing there. Meanwhile, S&P 500. There you go. Like the 445 call option looks like this. So straight down. I mean, nothing even there on the 30-minute time frame. There you go. A little bit better. This thing has been range bound, but I think it's a good example of a zero DTE where if you have the patterns and you're able to be disciplined enough and execute at the profit levels, you're getting multiple opportunities. This is SPY 445. Couple of patterns down here. Basically, you're looking for stuff like this. Hop level at 34 to 39 cents. And we treat it the same way. The HSI confirmation there, 34, 36 cents, up to 60 cents, and then you're done. Come back down, that would be the type 2. Not a bad example of multiple patterns. If it is something like looking at a position for tomorrow, let's say I thought this turnaround was going to keep going all day. Okay, what do I have on a 5-minute time frame? There's a 30-second time frame. Anything on a 5-minute? That's the 445 call. I don't have anything. In fact, I've got 2 bearish HSI signals, which kind of supports the underlying premise that the SPY itself is still down. So I'm looking at a call option, but probably not really ready to take off. I mean, here, bearish HSI, bearish HSI. That's not something I want to be long against. 30-second time frame. Again, there's a call option. Yeah, there you go. This one's coming back for the retest as well. So I would be sizing up these puts as a zero DTE trade for this afternoon, because the call option even looks like it's done. That's the 445 call. Went from 113 to 140. but it has to come back down for the retest. Not to mention HSI is there. Let's see. Couple more. The 370 put. I've been trying to do this a lot more in the Discord. It's just been, some we've caught, others that we've caught for like a 2x, then go 6x, can be frustrating. But I think we've got a good one right now. Looking at the SPY or the QQQ put 0 DTE today, like those 370s or 371s. Where's 371s? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you've got some patterns down here, 31 cents, 30. You're retesting these patterns. Think of it that way. And it does work like that. I'm there. Look, your last HSI is working. Don't expect this to happen right away. This could drag out till 3 o'clock this afternoon, but that's the kind of thing where we've hit some that have totally launched. It's tough. All right, couple more. So what's going on? What's my favorite HPC version? I am on both. I work with the Tradingview version, which is this. All right, and there's QQQ in a 5-minute checking back, but 2 bars away from it hasn't done anything yet. And I like this. The reason why that I really think everyone should get with this is because the auto type 1, type 2 will be available on this exclusively for a while. We won't be able to bring it to the other ones until we really nail it down. So I would say no matter what, if you're on the other platforms, get with this one. There we go, Q's 371.96, trying to break out above that bearish signal for the day. Here's the other thing on the 4-hour. Okay, real time. And I think this is interesting against the QQQ because this is the regular trading session that despite today's gap, on this chart, we have not really completed the type 2 yet. So I want everyone to be aware that down to 366.21, even within this small window of about 3 weeks of trading, is probably what needs to get hit before we can consider this return move down. So look at those different time frames. I think it's important just to kind of reference those. Couple more. Things that I'm looking at right now that I think warrant indefinite attention because you're hitting low levels, but trying to retest long-term support for the first time in a while that I think is, can quickly change. And one of those is PayPal on the weekly. Like, here you go. Weekly's better. Retesting big support, which is generally 60, 65 with HSI dot. You're at the lowest point in quite some time, trying to put in some kind of stabilization, high or low, off of this historic support. Really close. But if it's going to come down, retest, and hold over the next few weeks, that should be it. The other is Square, which back down here against this big all-time shark pattern. I mean, really nice. What's the problem? You need some kind of short-term signal down here at 50, hold $50, or give me a HSI signal. Almost hit there recently, but not quite. Another big one, Shopify, just continues to ping pong. I think Shopify is one that will, when it breaks out of the cycle, it's going to make a run back to all-time highs. And that's quite a call. But I do like the longer term dynamics here. And last week we did put in this bullish HSI signal. So if you don't have Shopify on your screen, I would look at this closely for as a high level continuation. It's not even, look, it's doubled off the low, but all-time high was a lot higher than it is now. I'm looking at these lows from August being a big continuation low. If you retest, that might be back at $55. So I think some of these are slow movers, but they are pointing in the right direction, making a lot of progress. That I don't think it's going to explode. You don't want it to explode. You want a nice long base to develop off of here, but you're close. And some of these continuation signals are substantial. Here's Roku, all-time 400. On the downside, you got down to $40. Sounds like a crypto. Now, recently, we have a bat pattern. Software is spitting out a bat pattern, but check it out. $75 was type 1, and the new scanner, all right, picked it up. So that new scanner down there with the A4 signaling now set it up where it's absolutely pinpointing the price bar where that ends the reaction. Look for the retest, and then we'll see. Coming into obviously a precarious time, but I think we have to stick with the patterns and look for any of these kind of major retests to give you oversold signals to go again. Get oversold, generate the signal, and then we can look into it. I mean, here's a one that I haven't mentioned in a while, but I think it's classic type 1, type 2 behavior that I think if you were looking for a forever stock, this is one of them, and it's Charles Schwab. Did a perfect type 1. And check out the blue. Let me increase that so you guys can see the markings here. Let me make terminal bar huge. Let me make the tracking icon large, or even huge would even be better. Let's go huge, and then let's just go make them green. This will be on the Tradingview update very soon. Don't want to tease you and say, hey, you're not going to ever get it. You'll get it. Check it out. QQQ breaking down 371 puts, folks. 371 puts. 370s too. We're about to get a yellow dot really soon. Here, let me get a couple more of those. All right, good. So there you go. Check it out. There's the terminal bar for this for Schwab, and then right up to that lettering, there's the price bar. End of the type 1 reaction. It helps that we have a couple of other confirmation methods here. HSI dot. That sets it back into a type 2. We're 47 bucks. Play it down to that. But that's ideal type 1, type 2 behavior on a long-term weekly chart. And if we get that, that would be a huge opportunity, but it's much lower. It might seem like when we get down there pretty damaging, but I think that's the kind of thing we want to pay attention to. Few more. Did want to say that big shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate you guys. You guys make this fun for me. So, today I'm just kind of just going off of really anything kind of off the top of my head, things that I think we need to pay attention to. I think it's interesting time to be trading patterns. A lot of things are quickly shaping up and did shape up after a rather quiet August. So I'll be here until really, I don't expect to take a break until Thanksgiving. And I think it's going to be an eventful several months even, and then we get into next year, which I think is going to be gangbusters. Keep an eye on that one. Just keep an eye on things to come. Don't expect this. I expect this to get more interesting the further we get into the end of the year. Here's GLD, folks. And I think a lot of people asking me where is opportunity in gold. I think it's on the next retest, and that's down at a 161. So weekly bat pattern, we've had a number of reactions longer term, but we come down here one more time. I haven't spent much time on gold because I've really been in this consolidation mode since 18 months ago. But it shapes up just like this. 161 on the support and then resistance, which we came off of about, back in May. I mean, exactly off of 190. Wait for that. Let's get to it. All right, a couple more. I know you guys want to look at some crypto. I will spare you the agony, but why not? Let's jump over there. And let's go off of Bitcoin. I did want to say something that I think the software maybe wasn't printing the same patterns. I don't know. I was seeing some patterns that weren't printing, or it was a delayed print, if you will. Let me go back to here. There you go. So still dealing with the shark and sitting on the 25,560 level. HSI dot. I'm not all that enthused about it, and I would love to see Bitcoin, and probably would just want to wait for Bitcoin to do anything, break out, what have you, or print some kind of bullish pattern. Now, I did have depending on your data feed, we do have a bat pattern that printed. I don't know why it didn't print last week. Some kind of delayed print. But 25,642 on Bitcoin is the exact 886. Let me show you. Let me bring up the X, and then you can see how the signaling is going to happen. There you go. So there's combo X version, and you see that the A2 and B2, those are the automated tools that show you end of the reaction, beginning of type 2 right there. This will be different. This will change, but let's look at the zone, and now we should expect something to happen. This is going to help, I think, clarify exactly where we should be looking for these kind of moves, especially based on the framework. But that kind of situation of a sharp reaction from terminal bar up to target 1 got rejected. Now we're back down here trying to stabilize at XA. and there's the B2 level. So if you're looking for a breakdown level, that under that B2 level, you have a problem. We could probably grind sideways within this larger zone until we get to what I think is slightly lower levels of the go like this, where we get a big 618 retracement on Bitcoin. And I'm not going to really challenge that phenomenon, possibility, structural minimum. I mean, at least a 382, something where you are there, 25.5, 25, but 50 to a 618 area, 23. At least give me some kind of oversold reading. You're just not there. I've been saying that for a few weeks. The big thing, probably the easiest way to look at this, is HSI deeply oversold there. And if HSI cannot come out of that zone, you have to wait. It's a lot like what happened back here in June. You went sideways and spent the better part of 6-8 weeks not doing much, eventually rolling over. It's for Bitcoin. You're going to have to trigger a big oversold levels here to really do something, to set something up. I would prefer that to be at least a 50% or a 618, even if it was like this. Last possibility for Bitcoin. Connecting dots. And I do think this is, for the weekly chart, probably the best way to go. You have that last ditch move go up to a 1618, which is harmonic impulse wave. Come back down to the 50, which is, I've been saying, 23.8, maybe 23. Something like that. Your 618 would be as low. Yeah, 22. 22, 23. I think a lot of people are trying to fish around for Bitcoin possibilities. The 618 at 22, I think, is not a crazy number. A lot of people would look at that. I think 50% level is the minimum you want to see. 50% and then come up. So you're plenty of time before anything like that happens. Are there opportunities? Do you guys think there's any opportunities in this space? Because other than to the downside, I don't see it. Maybe you have to set up a couple of bullish patterns by grinding up and down for a couple of months before you really do anything. I don't even want to do the top 5 because I don't think you need to. You've got too many things like this where, hey, we don't, as in the United States, we don't have that ability to short on the futures just yet. But if this can generate and get going, maybe you got something there. Maybe that's you play that down back to under 100. I don't think it's going to be really do anything until it comes all the way back and test the static support, because they all have proven themselves to be pops and rolls. To a lesser extent, maybe Ethereum. That could be 2 or number 3 even, but much like the rest of these, I would really want to see these in their sideways movements over the next 2 or 3 months print a bullish pattern. So if you can print a bullish pattern, at least you've got something that materialized in this consolidation. Could it be something like this? There's your B point, which is almost at a 50 level, and then come down to an 886. And I think a lot of people would trace out. Wouldn't be surprised to see that trace out. So it's, for me, probably the clearest one and maybe one of the best examples that we'll wait on and we'll see how it develops is XRP to go all the way back to 31. And then the real opportunity is 31 cents for XRP because it's a perfect type 2. It's a 2 of 2. 2 of 2 hits there, confirms, and then you can start the larger process. Remarkably, I think it's incredible. Really incredible. Take a look. This is the Combo X version, and even the Combo X, the way that it marks it. So the initial completion is right there at the terminal bar. And then A1 is the completion of that first move. And it would not go back on until 31 cents. What if we're still in the A leg? No, I don't think so. I think the rejection at target 1 on this, and this has been probably the textbook, best textbook example of why target 1s are so require that you pay so much attention to those reactions, especially if they have a huge move, hit that target, and then just get completely rejected. That tells you something going on within the larger dynamics of that pattern that say you have to come back. And so I'll wait. I mean, if I had a bullish oversold, maybe this HSI on the weekly will turn around. But not yet. Pretty close, but not yet. Just it's type 1, type 2 framework in action. And in my opinion, that's all you have in crypto. In terms of price, who knows what this stuff is worth? Good or bad? You have no clue of what this is really worth. Both sides of the equation. So you are following the speculative crowd who are trying to look for that next massive move, massive cycle, just like you are. But how to price that opportunity, that's why we look at the software. And then soon it'll just, I think really soon, you'll just say, okay, run me a scan on my daily or weekly patterns that all have the T2, the signaling that tells me we're 2 of 2, and then let's look for confirmation, and then let's go. It's going to be the easiest way to do it, to find the best opportunities. One or two more. So we looked at Ethereum, XRP, I even showed you Bitcoin Cash. Here's something that did move. The Fetch AI off of the 18-cent retest. There you go. And a lot of people talking about it. It was off of the crab pattern. This could go as high as 29. Okay, but that's about it. That's about all you're going to get. It's a beautiful pattern, but it's still so early. And you're not going to, if you're looking for the moon move, it won't happen until you do the 1-2. And with all crypto doing what it's done, that has to look like this. Hit the target, come back down, and then go. We'll have it soon, G-Dog. Again, I appreciate it. The automated objectives, the automated marking, really critical. I mean, here you go. In this beta version, it starts with the terminal bar sun icon, but it's, I think, going to be easier longer term to be able to track it and generate signals. Yeah, there's Fetch AI. I mean, it's, keeps on doing it. The other one was Matic. Polygon, whatever you want to call it, Matic. And it's that too Very popular, great, huge narrative. Everyone's talking about it. Here it is, back down to retest 52 cents with HSI. Hasn't checked back, hasn't no dot yet, but structurally there it is. And again, that's just the whole return function of any price action. Important to really emphasize that. If you're looking for something or even looking to position, it's not there yet. Not there yet. Just you have to be patient with a lot of these and focus on the Bitcoin. Couple of the miners, Riot blockchain, did put in a couple of HSI signals down here at around $10. Don't have a heck of a lot. A few others do have some patterns. I think Mara does have a bat pattern. And we were waiting for these to, there you go, bat pattern on the 4-hour and the daily. But that's probably does its type 2 at 1034. I think this was on a daily too, right? Yeah, there you go. Amazing, this thing did the exact move. This one to target 1 at 93. But let that come back down. Probably early on those. Bit Digital, that was the other one. Another bat pattern right at 210 or 226. So yesterday we got a dot on Bit Digital. And okay, that's a bit better than, sorry to use that pun, but better than even Riot, I would think. Yeah, let me see that. Versus Riot. Yeah, Riot's probably has a floor under $10 or right at $10. Remember the weekly chart. You're right back at the XA level. It's a long term, couple of bat patterns at 11, 1087, something like that. But I don't think with Bitcoin going sideways, doing what it's doing, you probably spend more time between 10 and 13. Are we oversold yet? Yeah, you're oversold, but not out of the range. Maybe tomorrow or next week. Yeah, there's a number of these that kind of individual ones that I think are they're interesting. Are they worth a shot? Maybe for this pullback early. Where's this Argo? It was either that one or it was Hut. Yeah, here it is. All right, so Hut 8, it's another super speculative low floater miner, but you're back in the oversold territory trying to get out of that zone. And it's worth a shot. I mean, it's worth looking for in this area. If we have a pattern down there, can we pop out of the zone and get some kind of reaction off of there? Last few times, yeah, you know, that kind of a pop. Yeah, here, you know, go to 150 to $3 or $4, something like kind of a thing. They're almost done. I think they're, you know, they're pretty close to being set up where it might be worth a shot. Yeah, Mara, same deal with Mara though. We talked about Mara because Mara has a pattern, but I would want Mara to be have a type 2. Mara's at least putting in an arrow, trying to put a weekly arrow. First one you've seen in since the beginning of the year. I prefer that for sure. So it's, again, they're interesting. They've pulled back enough to where you want to look at them. Have they confirmed? Almost. They're getting close. There's Mara. Yeah. And Mara's a bat pattern. So daily time frame, yeah. That's probably the best of all of them. But you have the weekly as well that by Friday, you have my attention. Have my attention. I think for Bitcoin and the rest of them, I mean, they really have to do something. XRP is something that is, your best hope is for that to go down. Go down first, then set it up. All right. Let's give away one more gold membership. Come to the Zero DTE seminar next week. We'll probably run that thing we'll open it up on the morning and then just go straight into our Thursday session. So first person to type in GOLD, you win that. And I'm going to let me circle back to where, hey, skip logics, you win. But let's go back to where we're at today. Skip logics, please contact Miss Stephanie. All right, finally, first dot. There you go. SPY just put in a yellow dot on the regular trading hours. 10 minutes ago. So first signs of something for going into the end of the trading day today. Any patterns here on the SPY? Oh, check it out. All right, there you go. Now you have some things. I like the SPY at 445 and change. What is it? A crab, couple of bat, hitting a lot of static resistance. And because that's a type 2, folks, 440, this is where we would target 444.66. Of 50 cents lower. I mean, that's not huge, but off of this, where's really quick? I'm looking for something. No ideal confirmation even on 32nd. And really quick, the Qs. Because what's Apple doing? It's off 6. Maybe Apple's starting to roll back over. Nvidia is down 12. Meta is back up $1.60, and Intel is still up $1.95. All right, well, there's the Qs on the 30-second chart, and it's actually amazing. Type 2 shark. Back to back. Here you go. Type 1 back down for 2. Let me bring up there's combo X. Where does it go? Oh, I know why, because the shark. Five-minute on HSI. Where is it? Oh, there's the dot. There's HSI dot. Is that failing? 372.30. Where are we headed into the close? What, 2 hours to go? Maybe you're a little early for a rollover. I getting close, but yeah, look here. Amplified almost there on a 5-minute. I want to see it on a 5-minute. I don't think it's... Yeah. Trying to hang in here because I would love to see this thing, all right, overshoot the 30-second shark. But with everything there at around 372.20, it doesn't look like it wants to roll over. Yeah, HSI is right there now. And where are the cues for today? They're off 230, 235. And SPY is now off 9. Keep an eye on it. I would like to see this thing roll over. Give me an opportunity, but that might not even come until 3 o'clock hour. We're still in a type 1, no matter what. We're still in a type 1. Oh, there's a little 30-second rejection. A little HSI trigger. Keep an eye. Is this just a little overextension? Definitely a tricky execution because this would be perfect where the dot is, and then you get some kind of 3-bar breakdown right into here to continue. And with these 0 DTEs or even taking them in tomorrow, yeah, 371.11 would be your presumed target. Might take a little while. Again, this is where 5-minute matters. Extended. Yeah, on the extended, it's I'll be back in the Discord for my folks. I'm not going to sit through this. I think there is an opportunity here, though. Just taking its time to really get overextended. That yellow dot will trigger. That'll end up being the midday dot. It doesn't even, again, doesn't matter if it's overbought or oversold. Whatever is materializing 12 noon to 1 o'clock hour, even though we're 2 o'clock, I'm paying close attention to that. What's that, B. Gotti? B. Gotti says you type first. B. Gotti, can you just contact Miss Stephanie if there's an issue? She's usually keeping here. I'm looking here. No, my friend. I could even send you the screenshot. Skip Logics was the winner on that for that gold for that last one. But listen, we give away stuff every Thursday, so come on back next Thursday. And we'll be here on Tuesday as well, 12 noon. Okay? Long session. Wanted to go through it. Just hang in here. I think we're going to get some nice sizable moves that will end the retracement that started in late July. It's just where? Slightly lower levels, obviously. Something like Apple, Microsoft, those are the two to watch. I mean, if Apple hits 169, I don't care how it does it. As soon as that hits 169, that might be it. And same with Microsoft at 308. We'll come back next week. All right. Thanks, everybody. Look for this rollover. Let's see if we can get this rollover later today. Until then, get with me over at Harmonic Trader. Get with the software. You know what the deal is. Have a great one, as always, and go get them. See you Tuesday.